We will thrive.
David M. Corbin.
Hey, I'm so happy to be with you here today. And I'm thinking about Gail, where it's 1 o'clock in the morning and she's still feeling the love. So that's fantastic. And I just, and to listen to singing Blackbird and Happy, and this is a very cool environment. Hey, it's 10 o'clock, approximately 10:23 where I am. Yeah, 10:23. And I'm just happy to be here with you. So let me jump into Illuminate, because I'm often asked to speak about this book that I've written. I've written about 13 books, not about 13 books. I've written 13 books, and happily, two of them made the Wall Street Journal bestseller list last year. So I'm excited that people are really digging on some of the concepts that I've been teaching for a long time. This is my 40th year being psychologically unemployable. I've been in the consulting and the speaking and the mentoring field for 40 years now. I can't believe it as I say that. So illuminate the negative, harnessing the positive power of negative thinking, is a book that I've written, and it's really caught on. In fact, it's in its 11th year of printing. You know, nowhere in the positive mental attitude literature, and I've read all the books, believe me, I've read them all, nowhere does it say we should ignore negative issues. It never says we should sweep them under the carpet. Indeed, what I teach and illuminate is bring it up. What is it that we need to deal with to be more effective, to live that big life, that magnificent life filled with love and health and happiness and joy and relationships, contribution, and feeling and expressing the appreciation and the gratitude every step of the way? Illuminating issues, taking issues that we know almost at an unconscious level, sometimes at an unconscious level, that we should be dealing with, confronting, but we're not. And so what we teach is face it, follow it, and then fix it. Courageously face some of the issues that we are dealing with or need to deal with. Follow it. What's keeping it alive? Where's it coming from? And what happens if we don't deal with it? And then go out and enthusiastically fix it, face it, follow it, and fix it. You know, there's a pizza company in the United States. I won't tell you the name of it, but it rhymes with schmamino's. Some of you might guess it. And they hired me years ago to be sort of a chief illumination officer. One of the things that they weren't facing and that they needed to was that their profits were not sufficient to sustain their business plan. A lot of people confront that from time to time. So they had to face it. Well, then we followed it and we said, well, why is that? Why are your profit margins so slim? And what we found was that people were desperate and they just buy anything that was advertised. And most of the advertised leaders were loss leaders. They weren't going to make money, or there's very little profit. We followed it further. Why is that? Well, we found out that 73% of American families, I don't know about European, 73% of American families don't know what they're having for dinner by 4:30 p.m. And so they call up this pizza place and they said, listen, I've got, 2 kids and my neighbor's kid and my wife's coming home. What should I buy? They were desperate and they were put on hold, and then they'd come back and then it would be discussed. Well, what we found out is these people were not in the fast food business. Rather, they were in the crisis intervention business. And people are calling up and saying, I have this problem. Can you help me? Well, when someone calls crisis intervention, you don't put them on hold. So when we shifted that, when we illuminated it and we faced it and we followed it, the fix was for people to behave like crisis intervention counselors. No problem. We can handle that. That's what we do. With 2 kids, we have 3 kids and whatnot. You'll probably want our package A with 3 big pizza cardboard crappy things, whatever the hell they are. They're terrible. And a big bottle of sugar water with caffeine to get those little kids bouncing off the walls. And people go, yes, that's exactly what I need. So that's an example of illuminate, face it, follow it, and fix it. I always invent products based upon the illuminate model. I'm going to ask you, what is it in your life that you're not facing? What is it now during this sort of lockdown that you're not facing that if you did, it would assist you in being even more effective in your personal life, your professional life, your spiritual life, in working with that quadrinity of your spiritual, emotional, physical, and intellectual self. So this is what I offer people to do, is to think about this. I knew that this virus was a little bit more serious than was being addressed. And so we illuminated that, and we looked at the administration, and we didn't think they were going to lean into it. And in doing so, we ended up investing, or what we call shorting the market. We knew that certain things were going to go down. And as a result of it, let's just say we made a lot of money by illuminating it. That's another example. And here's yet another example. I'm an inventor, and I am very pleased that I won the Innovation of the Year presented by Margaret Thatcher and Maya Angelou and Secretary of the United States, James Baker. I got this great award. And what I do is I say, what is not being faced in the market? How can I follow it and fix it? So one of the products I invented about 1.5 years ago looked at a problem that needed to be faced. And that was stress and tension and burnout and turnover of emergency room doctors and emergency room nurses. Now, think about this. This was 1.5 years before COVID. So we took it to testing about 7 months ago. And they tested it for 4 months at the scientific clinical hospital level and found out that indeed it reduces stress for doctors and nurses. Could you imagine that? 4 months before COVID, we got our scientific research back. Now, I'll tell you what this is, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of a clip, because while it was being tested, 2 television stations came in and did segments on it. In fact, rather than me tell you what it is, can we run that segment? And then I'll cut it off at about a minute's time. Can we run that now? Let's see if we have the technical capabilities of doing that.
Emergency rooms can be stressful, not just for patients, but also for caretakers.
And Houston Methodist Hospital recognizes that, so they're making sure their employees get a peaceful break to help strengthen their mental health. They're doing this through something called a rejuvenation station in their emergency room in the Texas Medical Center.
Now remember, this was before COVID.
Emergency after emergency takes place in the Houston area 24 hours a day. Medical workers at Houston Methodist Hospital are ready to take care of them. But being in a high-stress environment can take a toll. That's where this rejuvenation station comes in.
So you just come and sit in here?
Kimberly DeBose is the ER operations manager and is thrilled to see that many of her colleagues are taking advantage of this new concept.
So it does give an opportunity, not only during the busy day in general, but also when you have a very intense moment to decompress and then get refocused before you go back to deal with your other patients. That allows us to be patient focused.
Winslow Young says it works.
I think it's really awesome because those moments when you have those patients that are really sick and it takes a lot off of you, you have time to just go in there and just relax and de-stress and get like refocused, for the next patient. But it's just really a great stress reliever.
And I have an option to pick what journey I want to take.
Alrighty.
So I will pick
Thank you,
the journey of
Thorsten.
renewal.
We can cut it off. I think you get the picture of what it is. Now, of course, today, the doctors and the nurses, but not only the doctors and nurses, all of the staff are using it to be able to decompress, to go from their crazy roles and goals down in touch with their souls so they could be present with themselves and then therefore present with others. And of course, some of them are working in such crazy circumstances, they'll look at it before they leave the shift. And then, of course, they have to decontaminate and then go home. And many of them are sleeping in their garages to keep their families safe and all. So this is an example of Illuminate. My question to you who are watching is, what is it that you know at an unconscious level and maybe a conscious level that would be effective for you to focus in on? I call this hashtag reset 2020. There's many people who are looking at the world a little bit differently. I know that I am. For the last 13 years, before I leave my bedroom, I am down on my hands and knees. This is 13 years now. And I give thanks and gratitude. I always think of something that I could be grateful for. And it could be that there's a bathroom and I really have to go to the bathroom when I wake up in the morning. Whatever it is, I give gratitude and I say 4 things. Yes, please, more, thank you. Yes, please, more, thank you. Looks as though we may have frozen, but you can hear me. That's cool. And so when we talk about Illuminate, I ask people to say, if your business had a voice and it could speak, what would it ask you to know, to be, and to do? And so I always make a circle, and there's a spokes on the wheel. Each of those spokes is a core job function of what you need to do to be effective now as you're building your business and as you're building yourself for this business. And then get real serious with yourself and look at those core functions and ask yourself, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is mastery and 1 is you suck. Between mastery and you suck. And you rate yourself honestly on each of the core functions, on each of the spokes of the wheel. Now, when you find you're a 7, 8, or 9, that's great. Pat yourself on the back and go, yeah, that's awesome. But where you're a 2, 3, or 4, make a commitment. Make a commitment to be more effective, to close the gap. Set a goal. If you're a 2, set a goal to be a 4 or a 5 or a 6. There's no shortage of webinars. There's no shortage of, look at this amazing event where you can close the gap. And when you close the gap, when you go from a 3 to a 5, by reading the books, by going online, by talking to people, when you close those gaps, your confidence goes up. Then your competence goes up, which makes your confidence go up, and you're going up into your greatness rather than down the rabbit hole into your fear. Close those gaps, your self-esteem goes up, you're more effective, and you thrive. With the confidence, you will thrive to be able to build yourself, your business, and yes, your big life. These are great times to close those gaps. We've got time. Sitting around and watching TV is okay when you set the limit and you set the timer. I set my timer for this 15-minute share, and I've got just a few minutes left, and let me end with this. Oh, there we are. I promised I'd be on time. And so I leave you with this. There's a song that says accentuate the positive. I say accentuate the positive and illuminate the negative. Peace, love, close those gaps, build yourself, build your self-esteem, and build that big life that you deserve. Namaste.